listen, you've been doing this coaching thing a long time, and you've seen the changes along the way and the changes now with the portal and NIL. The one thing I wonder about, I'm looking at it at Notre Dame as well. Notre Dame had Sam Hartman last year and Riley Leonard this year. I remember watching Jaden Daniels as a true freshman at ASU and now transferring and going and playing for you. Where are we in the, I don't know if the word can be used anymore, development of a quarterback through a system? Because a lot of times they develop and they leave, or as you try and develop someone, you get in an older player coming in from another school to take over the program. So how do you balance that?
Well, it's the $1 million question as to how you deal with, transfers, generally speaking, within your program. And the way we're going to construct our program here is that we have great talent in the state of Louisiana, and they want to play at the flagship university at LSU. So the best way to do it is to recruit the state of Louisiana, engage the players, build relationships, develop them here so you can retain them. And so that's the best way to handle it and get him to water the grass here, make it greener here so it's not greener somewhere else. And so that's the only way that I can figure this thing out. So you're not in and out of the transfer portal each and every year. So develop your own players, develop the quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier is going to be our starter. He's been here since a freshman. And last year, he had a great game in the SEC West Championship game. He could have been in the transfer portal and maybe one of the most desired players, and he stayed. And so I think that that's a signal that, there are still some of those guys. He's a quarterback's son, and he knows the game, and he's going to get an opportunity now to run this football team. So that's how we're going to handle it. I think some others are going to, go through free agency every year, but that's how we're going to handle it.
Coach, I'm wondering, just going back to your players who are going to be drafted this year, what do you say to them? How do you prepare them for what they're about to embark on in terms of the draft and the NFL?
Well, that's a great question. And, what I have seen this year, more so than any other year, because of the transparency that's out there relative to social media, there's so many experts. Look, there's more misinformation and disinformation about players than the Cold War. I mean, it's crazy. And so I've just told our players, listen, talk about yourself. Stay in the moment, and really be humble about having an opportunity to be in the NFL and really keep it that simple. Other than that, for me, your tape is going to show a lot. And then, your one-on-one interviews, how you handle yourself, be respectful. I mean, all the things that a parent would tell their son. And, I think if you do those things, you can't step in it. And I think that sometimes we make this more complicated than it really needs to be.
Boy, I could not agree more. And you got surefire guys in the three we mentioned. I know they're trying to make some stuff out about Malik Neighbors now, but this is lying season. It's when everything comes out. It's crazy to listen to so much. But how about these guys are a given where they're going to go. But how about the player that comes to you as a coach? They get a draft grade and maybe it's not as high as they want, but they still think about leaving. That's got to be a more interesting conversation, right? Because obviously you would probably like them back on your team, but it's also a chance to go to the NFL. How do you weigh that of where their grade is and what they should do?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And we try to, be again, as helpful as we can. I bring in Scott Pioli, who's a former GM who does a full grading of all of our players that are draft eligible. So they have a third party evaluation for them. We bring in former players and tell them, listen, just so you know, this is really hard. If you're a fifth rounder or a fourth rounder, you got to go take somebody's job and they may have a family and they're feeding their kids. It's not easy. And so just understanding all of those dynamics and then what does the money look like after you move into an apartment in New York City, maybe, and you start to pay taxes and your players' dues. it's maybe a little bit better if you stay here. So I think we just try to give them all the information, and that the NFL is not a developmental league. It's you better be ready to play. So sometimes that works, Mike, and sometimes it doesn't. And so we can't just, we want to give them as much information and give it all to them so they can make an informed decision. But after that, then support them the best we can.
And sometimes that fourth rounder may make more money going back to school than going.
That's crazy, Mike. That is crazy where kids will have that decision to make. Should I stay in college because I'm making more here or go to the NFL? It
is wild. And I guess that's the next question for you in the evolution of coaching from what it was to what it is now. How much does this feel like professional sports now than collegiate sports, with having the number that you need to know what can you pay a guy? When you go sit in someone's living room now, it's how much before, taking care of my kid, there's money involved, and how much it's just changed to like more of a pro level situation.
Well, if we had a salary cap, I'd be okay with it. But there's no salary cap. I mean, that's the issue, really. I mean, if we all were operating under, the same guidelines, at least we could, know, okay, this is what we've got. But that's really the biggest issue. But look, the parallels, you're right. I mean, look, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, they're all looking for that rookie signing bonus. We're out there recruiting seniors in high school. They're looking for that freshman signing bonus. The transfer portal, he's looking for a free agent bonus. And then the guys on your roster, they want retention bonuses. So look, it parallels. NIL money is broken down into the three categories that the NFL is paying out. And we're doing the same thing. Unfortunately, we're doing without a salary cap. And that's where it makes it just absolutely crazy, because you just don't know, what the numbers are from year to year. So, college football is in a great place. We know there's a lot of money. The problem is nobody knows what this is going to look like in a couple of years. And if anybody does, please let me know. But we just have to figure out how to cap this so we can move forward.
Yeah, agreed. The game isn't hurt. The game is still as popular as it ever was, but everything around it is getting a little bit crazy. It's actually, these players somewhat have it better than the NFL. They don't have to deal with a number of years on a contract. They can do it year by year. It's they're a free agent every year. It's pretty wild. As far as your team now, as you just a little bit of spring ball left in this, as we mentioned, you get a new D coordinator and Blake Baker and guys that he has brought in. So that's an area that was of concern. So, and as we mentioned, you get top athletes there. How will Blake now kind of dissect this defense into performing better this year?
Yeah, we're still in need of recruiting. I think LSU has always been known for, having great defensive players. We're still in the need of developing and recruiting on the defensive side of the ball. I think we're going to be very good again on the offensive side of the ball. But that has flipped, and there's not a balance within the program right now where we have the same kind of players. I think we're going to get there in short order. But I think we're, from a recruiting cycle, we need to do another really good job this year and next recruiting on the defensive side of the ball. I think Blake and the staff that we've assembled will do that. I think the sum will be greater than any one of the parts on this football team. I think it'll be a much more balanced team than it was last year. As you know, we were the top offense in the country, but defensively we were not very good. And so I think we'll have a more balanced football team that can compete in the SEC, but we're still needing to recruit on the defensive side of the ball.
Coach, we saw Coach Saban step away this offseason, and one of the things that he said was that him and his wife discussed, and they were like, what are we doing anymore? A lot of the players are just in it for the money. They don't seem to have the passion. I guess as NIL and the transfer portal become more of a thing, one, does it change the way you feel about coaching at all? And two, does it change the way you recruit? Do you go in and look at a guy and say, you know what, this is someone that's coming here but may not be here in another year. Let me go after someone else.
Yeah, I think if I did, I probably would retire as well. I would, quite honestly. Look, this is my 33rd year, and my why is player development and developing players and the relationships with players. And I can tell a parent, look, I can help develop your son be a better husband, a better father, a better technically and tactically. I can develop him as a football player. I can help him graduate. I don't know what he's worth. I don't know. I don't know what that number is. I can't give you that. I don't know what that is. I've got 33 years of doing it, but I don't know what he's worth. But I can do all those other things for him. And so when it gets down to it from that perspective, if it gets to where I can't just develop kids and do it in the manner that I have talked about, where we recruit freshmen and develop them, then I don't know if I'll go to West Palm Beach, but I'll be on a beach too.
Yeah, I was going to say the younger coaches are kind of used to this, guys who have been around a while. And you said it, until they get some more guardrails of where this is going to go, this has got to be tough for guys that have had to cross over into this. So one kind of outside the box here a little bit, you were coaching at Grand Valley State, at Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, now at LSU. Different food things down there. What food have you grown accustomed to outside of, I hope, some beignets?
Always thinking with your stomach.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to have beignets. I think for me, originally from Massachusetts, I always loved seafood. And then, you end up in the Midwest and, the seafood is paltry at best, right? Unless you like, freshwater, fish. But getting that flavor back, with the Gulf here has been awesome. Any kind of fish with etouffee is terrific. The food here is pretty simple. It's just all in the sauces to kind of make it a little bit more of a flair. But it's been great. We really love it. They love football. They love family. Baton Rouge is about as Catholic as South Bend. It's amazing. So it's been really a great transition. And the food is amazing. So I have to work out even harder to keep the weight off.
Golic, have you sent Coach Kelly any alcohol? Because, Coach, are you interested in some alcohol branded by the Golic family?
Yeah. I didn't even know he was it. He's so diversified now. It would be, it's amazing.
We just started with our Golic Family Foundation getting involved with a sipping cream. So you never know where this is going to go.
He looks interested, Mike.
Hey, I'm up for. Listen, I'm Irish, so I do have that gene.
There you go. It's good, and it's good for you, and it's good for me and my family, if you know what I mean. So
the foundation, Mike. Listen, the foundation.
You can always have it with a couple of dogs on the back on a golf cart. It all works.
How's your golf game? Is golf game still going on down there?
Yeah, this pesky day job kind of gets in the way of it.
Are you going to Tahoe this summer, Coach?
No, it's much more about, for me now, with the way things are in recruiting. You're here all June. July now needs to be, you got to chill. And so recruiting now, you got to use the whole month of June with official visits. So it's so crazy. You just need to recharge the battery in July.
So going back to the recruiting, like the early signing period, and I believe in December, and then the normal signing period, should that change? There's talk of that possibly changing. Do you think that is something that could help?
I don't want to move the signing day up to June, because then I think what you're going to see, Mike, is kids opting out of their senior year. I don't want to see that. I want to see a kid play his senior year of high school football, and he gets an ankle injury and now he's out 6 weeks because he's already got a scholarship, committed to a particular school. So I'm a little leery of that June signing period. And then, for me, I think we're in a pretty good position right now with where it is. And let them have the early signing period in December, and then we'll figure it out from there.
A couple of quick ones, and we'll get you out of here, Coach. Who wins the Masters this weekend?
I'm going off the board a little bit. I think if he just would go with one swing thought, I'm going with Victor Hovland. He's been kind of messing around with like 19 different swing thoughts, but he can kill this course. And if he's got some patience in him, if he's patient, I think he's got a chance to win.
Have you golfed there? I'm sure you have.
I've been fortunate enough to play a little bit at Augusta.
So I've never played there. If I were to play there,
Mike.
would it be frowned upon if I had a beer and a cigar in my hand at all times? Is that frowned upon there?
Well, let's just put it this way. It'd be the last time you played there.
Oh. You want to take me instead, Coach? I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. I'd take the whole group. We'd make it a foursome.
Coach, are you serious?
No.
No, he's not. He's not taking you anywhere, Stu.
What do you mean, Mike? I've been on good behavior here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's killing you. I know.
Let's have questions.
Golic, help me out. The eclipse, Coach. How'd you spend it?
It was cloudy here, and I said that. My wife goes, "Well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You're missing the point." She just chalked it up to me being a dumb football coach. And I said, "Well, I was in the office, so I missed it."
Right, dumb football coach who plays Augusta. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it works.
Where do you think Jaden? I know you're going to say number one overall, but assuming that doesn't happen, Washington, New England, what do you think the best fit for Jaden is?
I really believe that both of the, I mean, it seems as though Chicago's made a decision. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't have any firsthand information, but I think either one of those are a great fit. I think Washington and New England are both, great landing spots for him. And again, look, Drake May's a great quarterback, but I think Jaden has that ability to change the complexion of a game. He's a veteran guy. He's experienced. He's been in the SEC. He's really, I think, ready to go in and play. I think, if you're pushing me on this, I think he goes 2.
Yeah, I think he goes 2 as well. And while there are no perfect players out there, we see his upside. What do you think are 1 or 2 things that he needs to get better at the next level?
Well, I think more than anything else, the continued maturation in the pocket. He's made great progress there. I just think, being in the pocket for him is one of those things where you don't want to see somebody just all of a sudden I've arrived. I think just more presence in the pocket. Everybody can benefit from being more calm and collected in the pocket, but he made great progress in year 2. I would continue to see that same kind of progress. He's up to 210 pounds. I think continue to build a coat of armor on him because he's going to get hit. I think sliding would be a good thing. Learning how to do that. Yep. That would also benefit him, but I think he's in a really good position. I think he knows all those things.
Which made you more nervous, coaching before a national championship game or stepping up to the first tee for the first time at Augusta?
Ooh. It's even crazy that those two rival each other.
I know.
Yeah.
That you're thinking about it. Yes.
The problem is in pregame, I saw the other team that we were playing against. It's always a great nervousness, when you're playing in a game of football. It's a nervousness that you've been waiting for, right? It's the anticipation, right?
Yeah.
That you prepared your team and you're going to go out. Augusta, you go out there and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen here. That's a different kind of feeling. So that one, you just want to get it in the fairway and get walking.
Did you?
Did you? Your first drive there, did you put it in the fairway?
I think I did. The bunker is reachable for many of the hacks like me that they put the tees. So I've been out of that bunker on one on the right a few times, but it's the great thing about Augusta for all of us that are higher handicaps, it is very generous fairways. So for guys like us, it's not as intimidating off the tee because they're so generous, the fairways. It's the green complexes. It's when you get up there and you're on the wrong part of the green, you got no chance of 3-putting. No chance of 3-putting. That's the difference.
Right. Mike, you notice he said a few times, huh? You notice that?
Yeah, listen, that would be it for me, the greens. I did the greens at Pinehurst. It makes you want to throw your putter. I mean,
Yes.
you get there and think you're going to have a good
Mike,
score.
you did that at Tahoe. I mean,
I know I did. I didn't want to bring that up either. Leave me alone. Let's let the man go. He's got football.
All right, Coach, get out of here. We look forward to our round at Augusta with you. We appreciate the offer. Good luck to your kids coming up in the draft, and good luck this season, of course. Hopefully we'll speak to you before then.
Good seeing you.